The only way, Mark, for any public policy for us to assess whether it's been useful or good or whatever, is to look at all the costs and all the benefits. And Andrew Lee personally knows that, and he's a member of parliament. He's an economist. He's a professor in the Australian National University for 10 years. He's quite competent, but the moment he became political, he's from the Labour Party in Australia. He's trying to fudge the story and prove that the lockdowns were greatly beneficial. However, the fact is, Gigi Foster, who is a professor in the University of New South Wales, and I supported her in a full-fledged cost-benefit analysis that was published a few months ago. And in that, we conclusively demonstrate that the lockdowns have been extraordinarily harmful compared to the benefits. Our estimate was around 68 times more harms than the benefits. Now, I would actually say it's much more than 100 times more harms than benefits. And the reason is the benefits, Mark, have actually been very much temporary. So yes, indeed, there were fewer COVID deaths in Australia compared to most other countries. And the main reason for that is it's an island nation. And so it's not, heavy traffic between the countries as in Europe and so on, or in USA. So being an island nation, it had the advantage that if it locked down the borders and all that stuff, it locked then it could, it would slow down the transmission, but it only slowed down. And so during the lockdowns itself, the thing was spreading. The virus was killing people during the lockdowns. And of course, well before the lockdowns were lifted, the deaths have started increasing. And by 2022, I think by about November or October of 2022, a vast number, I forget the actual number, it's probably around 10,000 of these people have actually died from COVID. Pardon my inaccuracy in the number, but it may be around the 10,000 number at the moment. I don't have the number. But the point is that so we had estimated, Gigi Foster and I had estimated that around 10,000 people's lives might have been saved by the lockdowns. And so we gave them 5 years of life, in estimating how many years of life that were COVID saved, which was very generous because most of the academic papers tell us that it's only 3 years that we should allocate because these are very elderly anyway. Nevertheless, we said 5 years. And now when I look at that, they didn't get the 5 years. Most of them died within 18 months or 24 months. So essentially, the lockdowns did not save lives. They only delayed the deaths of a few people who were very elderly. If you look at the data, it's a vast, I think about 80 to 90% of them are over the age of 70. It's an enormous distributional, the people above the age of 80, well above the age of life expectancy, are the ones who mostly died. Now, expecting these people to live for another 5 years would be delusional anyway. So they would have died from something else in the meanwhile. So it didn't really save lives. And if there's no real savings of lives, then the benefits, the ratio of it's a benefit divided by cost ratio. Okay, so when your costs decline so dramatically as we have worked out, then, and by the way, all these are measured in a single unit, which is either a quality adjusted life year, or well-being, the well-being index that has been created by Paul Fridges. So we actually use them in a single unit, and then we compare the two ratios. And when the denominator falls so dramatically, then obviously the whole ratio becomes crazily large. So I think that the harms are around 100 times greater than the benefits, and the harms are enormous. And I can go on a big long list, but I think there's a CBA, the cost benefit analysis, is available for those interested. It's a very long, detailed discussion of the various enormous harms that are caused by lockdowns. Small harms to millions of people and children, they add up quite to a very large number.